So the relationship between Rhaenyra and Helaena Targaryen is pretty much open for interpretation, so to say. They don't have too much of a connection so far on the show. They aren't really around each other all too much. It's very much like in the books, where Rhaenyra is 12 years older than her sister Helaena. They very much are so going through their own separate lives in the show. The best way to describe them is like two passing ships in the night. But I do have to say that I like to think there is some affection between the two of them, considering that this is a family clock full of boys, so it's nice to have some girls in the mix. Almost a bit of solidarity. However, you can take the relationship between Rhaenyra and Helaena as a perfect example of how in Fire and Blood you get a plethora of different stories and rumours about their relationship, but the truth is, we just don't know. However, some of the stories are very flattering, where Rhaenyra refers to Helaena as my sweet sister, that she didn't blame Helaena for what was happening, and that she saw Helaena as much as a victim as her. But other stories make out Rhaenyra to be almost impassive, that she just didn't really care or think about her sister Helaena. And then you have the more salacious rumours that Rhaenyra revelled in Helena's misery and torture and put her through hell just out of pure spite, which leaves me not really knowing what to believe. As if that really was the case. Because Rhaenyra, particularly with her children with Daemon also, their kids share a very blended family. In the show, we are lucky enough to see a very rare moment between Rhaenyra and Baelor. And Rhaenyra and also the mother of Baelor, Helaena, was very close. And so that relationship carries through Rhaenyra. And I think that the relationship that Rhaenyra has with Baelor would be very similar to the relationship between Rhaenyra and Helaena. We also have to remember that Helaena and Rhaenyra are very much daddy's girls as well. Rhaenyra and Helaena, they are both intensely grieving the loss of their father Viserys. And not only that, but they are both grieving mothers due to the loss of their children. Both of these women are going through hell. And had the war not started, I would like to think that both Helaena and Rhaenyra would lean on each other to help each other through the grieving process because they were so close to their father and it's such a big shock to lose him. I like to think that because Rhaenyra is older, she is a lot more mature and take Helaena under her wing and understand that Helaena didn't have anything to do with this and that Helaena, just like Rhaenyra, was swept up into this. They are just two sisters caught up in something that they cannot control. So I would like to think that they would have more in common than what people would initially think. Even though they are on different sides of the war, they are still mothers who lost children. We don't know if Helaena did blame Rhaenyra or whether Helaena thought, well, Rhaenyra did lose her son first. We just don't know. I don't think Helaena blamed Rhaenyra directly. I think Helaena blamed the war because Helaena is a sweet and gentle character and she doesn't like the anxiety surrounding the Game of Thrones. She doesn't like the power play and all of the games. It's all too much for her and she just wants it to stop. She just wants them all to stop and start behaving like a family. Rhaenyra is quoted as to her brothers and her sister, my sweet sister, they have been led astray by a council of evil men. If they just come to Dragonstone, if they just ask for forgiveness, if they bend the knee, I will forgive them. I'll take them back into my own heart. They are my family, they are my blood. This is the most important thing. Fire and blood is not the most flattering towards Rhaenyra, but the fact that she is quoted saying this, that no man or woman is accused as the kinslayer. I feel like that they could not deny her saying this. That's why it's on the record. We certainly know that Alicent blames Rhaenyra for what Helaena is going through. There is a character called the Shepherd who loathed Rhaenyra, and he takes a stance on how Helaena is treated and also what happens to Helaena. He escalates the tension and he basically ups the ante. It comes from assumptions between the sisters because nobody really knew. But however, on paper, Helaena is Team Green and Rhaenyra is Team Black. They are on opposite sides and they are supposed to be enemies. But whether that's actually true, we don't know. I like to think as sisters they are kind of kindred souls. In an alternate world, they could be quite close. They might not have a lot in common and there is a very big age gap. But the desire to have a relationship is definitely there. There is a lot that the sisters can relate to because no one has been in the shoes of Rhaenyra or Helaena. So I truly do think that they would have heavily leaned on each other. But Helaena is definitely between a rock and a hard place. I don't think that she had any animosity towards her sister. But for Helaena, all of a sudden her husband is fighting her sister. And it was never as if she ever could have picked a side by herself. It is expected that she takes a stance against Rhaenyra. But that kind of goes against Helena's nature. she doesn't have a bad bone in her body. She doesn't want any part in this, and I certainly believe that she doesn't want to see her sister fall in battle. I think overall for Helaena, she just wanted it to all come to an end so they can just be a family together. Overall, that's my thoughts on Helaena and Rhaenyra's relationship. Tell me what you think in the comments and how you think Rhaenyra and Helena's relationship pans out. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.